Welcome to the Game Changers Podcast, your connection to the world's most powerful influencers in leadership, personal development, and entrepreneurship. Here's your host, professional athlete, author, speaker, and game changer himself, Rennie Curran. It's time to get your head in the game.
Thank you so much for joining me on the Game Changer Podcast. My name is Rennie Curran, and I'm a former professional athlete, speaker, author, life and business coach, and most of all, I'm a game changer. I want to start the show off by just sharing my game changer tip of the week. As I've been going through my journey of ups and downs in life, one thing has always stuck with me, both on and off the field, and this tip has shaped my entire perspective, my drive, and my overall approach to everything that I do in life. So my game changer tip for this week is faith over fear. Faith over fear. See, many times our life experiences, our circumstances, and even the people who we choose to surround ourselves with can cause us to live life from a place of fear, and even cause us to create lies that we tell ourselves and believe to be true. So we a lot of times end up becoming our own worst enemy. We say things like, oh, I'm too old for this. Oh, I don't have enough money to accomplish this right now. I don't have enough time. Or better yet, we casually say things. And sometimes we say these things subconsciously or jokingly or in a serious way. We'll say things like, one day. I hear that saying so much. One day I want to start this business. One day I want to be an author. One day I want to accomplish this great thing. And it really, a lot of times, is a way for us to justify the fact that we're fearful, or that we don't really believe it's going to happen. There is some long shot. And so I challenge you to just live life with faith, live life with hope, with love, with all the things that are positive, and truly encourage yourself and believe in a reality that may not even be there yet. I don't know what you're going through right now, but just believe through faith that whatever it is that you want to accomplish, whatever level that you're trying to get through, that it is possible. So with that being said, now it's time to introduce my game changer of the week. And I'm so excited for you all to hear from this next individual. I believe it's really going to have an impact on you. And what makes me even more excited is this person just had a major career breakthrough. So make sure you listen in on this amazing interview. So this next guest I'm going to bring onto the Game Changer Podcast is a real great friend of mine. Me and this gentleman have had many great experiences on the gridiron, on the field. He played at University of Georgia from 2008 to 2011. Had an amazing career so far. He's the first current player that I'm bringing on the Game Changer Podcast. Has played with the Philadelphia Eagles, the Steelers, Panthers, Bears. Is a guy who is just an amazing game changer, amazing leader, man who just pushes himself in everything he does. So I'm just humbled to have this next guest on the show, who is none other than my good friend, my brother in Christ, Brandon Boykin. Brandon, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing? Thanks for having me on, man.
Oh yeah, man. Definitely, man. I'm humbled to have you on, bro. I just am excited because when I think of a game changer, when I think of somebody who's really doing impactful things on and off the field, like you were one of the first guys that came to mind, from back in our days at Georgia. And I know so many times, you get the chance to do interviews here and there, but you really don't. Most people don't really get to understand just your mentality and what drives you, and the things that are underneath the surface, man. So that's really what I wanted to talk about today. And the first question I have for you really is just to hear more about your story, man. I want to hear just about from the beginnings until now, what's kind of gotten you to where you are.
Well, I try to put this out. First and foremost is that I think it's my faith, my foundation is what's gotten me to the point where I am now. And I think it's important for, a lot of people to understand that journey hasn't been just so sweet and pleasant all the time. Even recently, you're going to go through adversity as a, I guess you could say, a public figure, an athlete, and that, things aren't going to go your way all the time. Even as a professional athlete, we get put in this light that, we are supposed to be, kind of like invincible, or, we get put in the light that, our lives are just what they see on TV, but that's not the case. And I think that especially when you're an athlete or you're somebody that, people can see all the time. It's important to have a firm foundation because we have struggles just like everybody else. And, without that foundation, you will lose yourself for sure.
That's real, man. That's real. Well, yeah, I love to just hear. I mean, I know you from Georgia, just like me, man. Georgia boy, hometown kid. So I just want to hear about that journey, man. Was it always your dream to be a dog? Like, what was your first experiences growing up?
Honestly, my first experiences, I was a baseball player, which is crazy. I didn't even like football to be at first. I didn't start playing until I was like 9 or 10 years old. So
Right.
I thought I was going to be a baseball player. I thought I was going to be the next Ken Griffey Jr. because that's what I always wanted, and that's what I always kind of mimicked, Ken Griffey. And then it wasn't until I say high school that I really took football seriously to the point where I felt like I could have a future in it because after baseball, I was playing basketball, and even in high school, I was playing basketball. So, and even in high school, I had a lot of adversity. I broke my leg in 2 different places in high school, and doctors were saying that my leg might not grow back the right way, as a 10th grader. So that news was kind of threatening to your whole, life and detrimental. But by the grace of God, things worked out how they did. Didn't like the University of Georgia. Ironically, which is weird, I don't even want to tell people this, but I wanted to go to Georgia Tech because I had family members that played there. And then I went on my visit to Georgia, like I think my sophomore year or beginning of my junior year, and just completely fell in love with Georgia. And I committed on the spot, and was committed, solid in my commitment for 2 years. And I can say, that's the best decision I ever made in my entire life. Going to the University of Georgia, just the relationships that I formed there, with guys like yourself, the coaching staff, the things that we learned as teenagers becoming young men, the values that, the coaches, especially Coach Rick, placed in our lives and tried to instill in us on an everyday basis. And just, being here with your family kind of does something. I think it's important to have a foundation of people around you when you're kind of learning and going through that process of being a college student. So being close to home was super important for me. Having a support system that was here to help me. And man, so once I got to Georgia, we both played at a really quick, had to grow up really quick, and
man.
And those things helped us. It helped shape who we are, helped shape our character, help us to just put ourselves out there, not be afraid to take risks, not be afraid to be in the moment, and know that you put your best foot forward, your best effort out there, and let God take care of the rest.
Yep, you're exactly right, man. There's so many things you said, just resonate with me, and I feel like you're a guy who's we're so much alike in the sense that we have a strong foundation, we have a strong support system, and we got our families that are together and just our faith, and that's huge, man. So many guys aren't afforded that, man. So it's a blessing. And I just as you were talking, man, I just thought about back in I think it was 2009 after that South Carolina game. You jumped on me after I made that play, and then we both fell down. My body was like,
that was one of my most memorable moments, man, for real.
Man, that was crazy, bro.
That was a game to remember, and it's crazy, man. Like you said, we are really a lot alike in our foundation, and even our journeys of just having struggles and always overcoming. And I think, as a believer and as somebody who has faith in Christ, I don't know. I don't really understand this. I don't know why it happens, but it seems like people that are believers, they may have a tougher time. We look at people in the world, and they just, everything comes to them easy. They get this, they get that, and then they mess up, and there's no repercussions for them. But as a member of the Christ family, it's important that we go through these things the right way, and that our testimony will speak volumes to people. And that'll speak so much louder than if we were just to get what we wanted to just throughout life and not have anything to go through or say or teach anybody. So I really wouldn't change any of the struggles that I've had, and I know you wouldn't. And I think they're just speaking to people, even though we don't necessarily see it all the time. But it's for a purpose.
Oh yeah, always for a purpose, man. I totally agree with that, and something that's been on my heart, man. Like, because I just recently, retired from football and decided to make that transition, and I looked at the fact that I could play 3 to 5 more years. I hurt my knee, but I could come back and I could play however long and make as many plays as I want. But I'll be successful. Right. I'll be successful, but will that make me significant in life?
Exactly.
And that's exactly where my focus is, man. It's like, can I live a life of significance, and really impact, man? And like what I'm able to do now, speaking and doing different things, and I'm sure you can relate to this, man. Like, you have so much more impact doing that than you do necessarily on the football field, just making plays.
Exactly.
So
exactly,
man,
and it's just as fulfilling, if not more, knowing that you're impacting somebody, not just getting your name called, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, of course.
Like you said, this is year 6 for me in the NFL, and if I play 10 years, that's my goal, and that's amazing. But when that 10 years is up, is that going to be fulfilling to me to just say, I played 10 years,
right?
Me. Like, there's a reason that we have this spotlight, this platform, and you just want to make sure you maximize it.
Yep, that's it, man. Maximize is a powerful word that you just said, man. And I feel like that's the key of being a game changer, is just understanding the platform that you have and maximizing it. And speaking of being a game changer, man, one thing I want to know is, like, what was that game-changing moment for you? It could be maybe when you were, 6 years old or 7 years old, or, I feel like those moments happen at different points in our life that just kind of, where we realize our gifts, or like where a moment just kind of transcends things. It could have been, your first play at UGA where you just realize, like, man, I got something here. So I'd love to hear just kind of those game-changing moments that happen throughout the course of your life.
Yeah, I think, of course, high school, we dominated. Everybody that probably makes it to that next level was the best at their high school. But, when you go to college and when you play in the SEC, that's a whole different level. That's like, they say it's the NFC, the AFC, and the SEC are the 3 NFL conferences. So just kind of getting to Georgia, I wasn't necessarily confident in my abilities, honestly, to be an elite corner or an elite, whatever I was going to be, return man, whatever. So I think, like you said, that South Carolina game, that was kind of like my breakout game for my entire career. And I had, like a pick and like 8 tackles and almost 2 touchdowns for kick returns. And
you went off,
did everything. So I was kind of like, okay, this is, I can do this. It kind of feels like high school. But something that's really crazy about that entire thing is, I never even told anybody this. The week before that game, I was like in East Campus Village, and when we stayed in East Campus Village, the little student athlete dorms.
ECV.
So I was. It was like late at night. I don't know where I was coming from, and this is literally a week before the South Carolina game. I had littered. I threw a little Zaxby's cup on the ground in the parking lot. Hey. And I walked to my dorm room, and I swear I'm sleeping, and I just feel God's conviction. He woke me up, and he says, you need to go get that cup. It's like 3:30 in the morning. I get woken up, and it's like, you need to go get that cup. I don't know why he woke me up to say that. I don't know why. Yeah. I just woke up in the middle of the night thinking about that cup, but I think my obedience to Christ was him testing me, saying, are you going to trust me in what I say and do what I ask you to do? So I get up at like 3:45 in the morning, go get the cup and just throw it in the trash. And then, I come back in my room and go to sleep. Wow. And then the very next week I had this crazy game. I'm not trying to put a correlation to it, but I just think, God rewards those who are obedient to him, who listens to him. Yeah. Everybody has those little inklings and those voices in their head when they know supposed to do something and they kind of just want to ignore it. Yeah. But I think that's just conviction of Christ. That's him talking to you, and it's important to try to make that voice a little bit louder by obeying it when you hear it.
Yeah. Now you're right, man. That really stuck out to me, because inkling of the voice, man, it doesn't always have to be something big. It doesn't have to be like the burning bush of Moses and him telling you to go. It could be just something small. So you're right, man. Just being obedient to those things, and like he says, if you're faithful in the small, he'll bless you with more and whatnot, man.
Yep.
So that's an awesome testimony, and just and I know like those moments, man. It's like before it comes, it almost seems like you're never gonna have that breakthrough. You're never gonna have that opportunity, and then all of a sudden, it's just you had that game changing moment, or that opportunity comes out of nowhere, man. So it's always awesome to see guys, especially like yourself, because I know, you like me, man. You put that time in the weight room. You take care of your body. You try to do all the right things. You try to be a leader,
Yep.
and so
Yep.
it can be tough when that opportunity doesn't come right away.
Exactly.
Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about that? Some of the challenges that you face early on, just whether it was through recruiting or through your time at UGA, or just any challenges that you face.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't have that many challenges at Georgia. Everything was great, which isn't real life. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So once I finished my senior year, had a great bowl game, and then I think that's when adversity started coming for me. I went to the Senior Bowl. I was projected to be a like first round pick, like top 4 corner. Had an amazing Senior Bowl, and then in the game, one of my teammates in the game fell into me and broke my ankle.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was like basically my ankle is like the little small bone in your leg. So I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do my pro day. Couldn't do combine. Couldn't do anything. Just basically had to sit and watch. And as a result, things kind of fell. So that was extremely hard for me. Like, that's what you go to college and you sit there and like, man, I can't wait till my pro day, my combine.
Yeah,
like that's like Christmas for football. Like to be able to have to sit through that was just like extremely hard. But it was me just humbling myself, knowing that, okay, like God's never let me down. I've been in situations before, and He's gonna put me where I'm supposed to be. So got drafted and by the Eagles without any workouts, straight off tape, and come in my rookie year and start and then play there and have amazing games and seasons. So it was just like that was the first step of me knowing like, okay, God's gonna take care of me if something happens. He's never let me down. And then I get traded to Pittsburgh, going into my 4th season. And then when I get there, based off, the business of the football, I don't even play until like 11 games into the season. So I go from starting in Philadelphia to just sitting. So I'm like, okay, this is crazy. I don't understand it, but I know God's gonna take care of it.
Yeah, man.
Get in the game. My very first snap, I get in the game. I get an interception. I just think like, God works in crazy ways. And through all that time, I'm not sitting here saying I was perfect or did things the right way. It was testing my faith, it tested my character. But through all of it, I grew, and my relationship grew. So, and even now, like I've been going through the same type of thing. It's just the business of football. Understanding that. It's not going to go your way, but your foundation is what's going to carry you, not just your name that you a football player or that you did this, how many tackles you had. So, you know more than anybody to how you can relate to, just having to sit through the wait and be patient and learn to just trust. So, I think that's what I try to teach high school players. People come in and they say, oh, you work hard and you do this and you do that. You don't go to the top. Like that's not necessarily true all the time. Like, let's just be real with people. Like you can work as hard as you want to work, and things just may not go your way. What's more important is how you handle it, how you go through it, your mindset, what you think, and your faith and your perseverance to see it through. So
exactly, bro.
That's just kind of where I am and where I think most people should understand from the standpoint of just life ain't gonna be sweet all the time, no matter who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
I think LeBron was saying it the other day about what happened to him. Like, it don't matter how much money you got, how famous you are. Like, things are still hard a lot of times for people. So,
yeah,
you just gotta fight through it, man, and have a foundation to get through.
yeah, that's it. You're exactly right, bro. And the crazy thing for us as athletes, like with how competitive we are, it's like we always are focused on the next best thing, on like the improvement.
Right.
And so a lot of times I feel like we can so many times miss out on so many blessings, like so many good things that have happened for us, man. Like you just said you was drafted with no workouts, with no, you know what I'm saying, without doing your pro day, with all that. Like that's a blessing in itself, like just to hear your name called, man. And I think
exactly
because of how like competitive we are, and then because of demands of like what we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to, aim for greatness, we miss out on like so many like powerful things that we experience, man.
Right.
Like just like I said, being part of that like 0.08% that actually gets to experience it, man. And even going to the, take it a step back, even going to Georgia. I mean, how many kids want to play, want to wear that red and black? Or how many walk-ons did we play with that just wanted to hit the field one time and just hear their name called one time, man? So like, we got so many things to be thankful for as athletes, and just getting a chance to do what we do. And
very true.
Yeah, man. The next question I had for you, man, was through everything that you've been through up until this point with your career, what, because this podcast is about leadership, is about personal development. It's about, a little bit on the business side, entrepreneurship. But what have you learned about leadership throughout your career?
I think the most important thing I've learned is that I think true leadership is vulnerability. I think being vulnerable speaks more than trying to, tell people what to do or show people that you're perfect. Like, true leadership is showing people like, look, man, I don't have it all figured out. I might not be the best at something, but I'm going to give my all. Like, that's relatable to people.
Yeah, man.
Like, I heard somebody say the most relatable thing to say to somebody is me too, as far as like, I'm human too. Like, I have struggles too, me too. Like, people are drawn to people like that. And I think for me and myself, like, anytime somebody going through a struggle, or anytime I feel like I need to talk to somebody about something, I lead with saying, like, me, myself personally, this is my experience with this type of thing. Like, I struggle with this, or I've done this, like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, man,
that's so important when you're talking to somebody, you're trying to be a leader. Like, people want to see how you go through certain things and how you overcome it and how your mindset is. They want to mimic that. And that's true leadership. Like,
that's real, man.
I mean, I don't think it's wrong to necessarily lead by, rah-rah and stuff like that. But at a certain age, I think that's kind of like, people know what's real and what's not real.
Yep, you're right.
So I try to like, give them what's real from an early start. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you.
Yeah, and I mean, see that's such a great point, man. Just on vulnerability and just being real and being authentic, man. And I mean, you know, just as well as I do, like how many different, whether it's coaches or GMs or players, how many people just are walking around with just this ego and this big coat of armor on, like just acting like they're untouchable, man. And I'm just untouchable. Like, just be real. And that's
very true. And you see right through it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not leading anybody. Like, we know. We know
exactly.
How you are.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I see that all the time, bro. And I'm like, just relax, man. And, it's crazy to me. But I definitely believe in that, man. Vulnerability and just empathy, man. Like, trying to relate to somebody from where they are and not necessarily where you want them to be. Because, as you know, we played with so many guys who came from so many different backgrounds. Like I said, didn't have that same support system that we had, man. So just meeting them where they are and trying to, lead them by example. Sometimes, and a lot of times, it's not even what you say. It's just, how you live your life, how you go out on the field, how you play. The example that you show. And yeah, that's definitely something. Yeah, when I think about you as a player, man, I just think about somebody, as it goes back to leadership, somebody who's always selfless. Like, you're always going to try to put things on your back and, like, go out of your way you know what I'm saying, to make that play or just to, you know, do whatever you had to do to win the game, man. Not for yourself, but to help the team win, man. So you're definitely a team player.
Right. I appreciate
You know.
that. I think that, I mean, both of us, we both got our name on that strength and conditioning blocking in the Georgia weight room. And I think that like speaks volumes to, you know, the ultimate sacrifice of what leadership means. Like you got to come in every day and show and do it, not just talk about it. And you know, people respect that, and it's kind of like etched in stone now. Like your face is on the wall. My face is on the wall at Georgia.
Right.
Like you made a legacy, made an impact by doing the right thing and being who you are, and genuinely being who you are. So.
Yep, that's real. That's real. And speaking of that, man, just to get to that point where your name, you know, was etched in stone, where your picture was on the wall, like what are some of the things that you did to set yourself apart?
I think that well, early on, my foundation wasn't as strong as it is now. I mean, I think, you know, going through college, everybody, we all made mistakes. We all, you know, and continue to do so. But I'm saying as far as like, all right, I'm going to be serious about my faith. As an 18-year-old, not many people are like, you know, super serious. You know, you got some people, but we got to experiment. We got to live. We got to grow.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we got to do other things. So I think, like, I just kind of had I've always been a person to write my goals down and put them like on paper and put them on my wall. So like I knew this is what I wanted to do. If I wanted to make all SEC, or if I wanted to be all American, I wanted to do, you know, like I knew what I wanted to do, and I saw that visual every day. And I think I knew what I couldn't do in order to have that, like going out every night. Like I just, I mean, I went out early on as a freshman, like I tried to go out a couple of times during the week, and I'm like, bro, I just can't do this. Like, I'm not built for this. I'm not gonna be able to do this and go to practice. So I'm like, well, even though I may have wanted to sometimes, like my discipline was you know, a little bit stronger than that. Like I think this is a little bit more important than me going out. So I'm gonna say that for after the game. Win or lose, I might go out, but I'm not doing it during the week. And I think that's just, you got to kind of set those goals, man. You got to set those boundaries. You can't get into the temptations of the people around you. Like, and I don't live with plenty of people that went out during the week and things like that. But it's just what's important to you. What are you willing to sacrifice to get what ultimately is most important?
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, the biggest thing that stuck out to me, what you just said, was just having those boundaries, man. Setting those goals, like that's something I definitely believe in. It's something that I did right before I came up to UGA, wrote down all my goals. Same thing, man. So just having that focus and like you said, you're gonna make mistakes. You gotta be able to live, but it's like just taking that step back and disciplining yourself, asking yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice? So I definitely agree with that. The next question I have, man, is if you could leave one piece of advice for anyone who's you know, going this same journey that we're going on or that you're going on right now, man, what would that advice be? If you could talk to your younger self, you know, knowing what you know now, what would be those words of advice?
If I could talk to my younger self, that's a really good question.
Yeah, man.
I'd tell myself that I probably would tell myself to ask more questions earlier. I was a guy early on that was like, I don't know if I was afraid to ask questions or I just felt like I could figure it out on my own, no matter what it was. I mean, you can't. I think I would have saved myself maybe a lot of money. I'm talking about in college, like a lot of money, a lot of even on the field, like a lot of mistakes. I didn't want to ask questions. I was scared my question would be stupid. There is no stupid question. I mean, in my opinion, because you got to learn. So I think there's a lot of people like that. Like they don't like to ask questions. How you gonna find out stuff? You know, you don't want to learn just through experience all the time. That could set you back. So I'd say don't be afraid to ask questions. Find somebody that you may admire or a veteran or something, and mimic them and ask questions. Like, like somebody that don't want to help you, like I don't think that's if somebody's on your team and they're not willing to help you Like they probably ain't a real leader. So I think if you admire somebody, ask them as many questions as you can. Like I'll be looking for people to ask me. Like if you want to know, I'm an open book. Anything you want to know to help you get to that next level, and I know you the same way. Like I admire kids that's like trying to get everything they can get, and those would be the ones that be successful. So just ask. I'd ask more questions. I'd be more willing to open up at an earlier age of what I can't do this or I need help with this. And, and I think I would have benefited from that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And that kind of goes back to what you said earlier in terms of leadership on just when it comes to vulnerability, man. And really just admitting when you need to grow in certain areas, which I feel like is a big part of leadership, man. It's just knowing, it's just self-awareness. So that's awesome to hear. Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah. So the last question I got, man, it's a pretty deep question, and it just really sums up what this show is about. What does being a game changer mean to you? Like what legacy or what change do you want to see in the world as a result of you being who you are? Like what does being a game changer mean?
When I hear the word, when I hear that sentence, what does being a game changer mean? I don't even think about football. And I think if you would have said that, 5-6 years ago, I would have gave you a cliche football answer,
right.
or maybe said something about that early and then try. But being a game changer, I think, is fulfilling your purpose on earth. And I think I'm honestly not the type of person to necessarily be a respecter of persons. Like I know like janitors that I respect more than than a head. You know what I'm saying? Like it's about how you treat people. It's about your purpose, whatever you do, and how you go through it. And I think being a game changer for me personally is whatever platform I got, like football. Have I impacted people, even if it's one, or have I impacted somebody with my story, with my vulnerability, with my assistance, or my willingness to help, or my attitude, or my behavior, just as much as I've impacted somebody that's wearing my jersey just because I'm fast and I'm getting interceptions or scoring touchdowns. Have I helped somebody else, or even things like this, like your podcast is probably gonna touch somebody. We're gonna talk to somebody's heart today that we don't even know.
Right,
but because of it, like we've changed the game. Like they might go and do something that we never will figure out or never know about. But it's serving a greater purpose than ourselves. I think that's what being a game changer means. Like humbling ourselves and serving something that's greater than us.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I haven't had too many people on the show, but that's definitely one of the best answers, like by far. So you get it, man, and I'm just excited, like to see what you're gonna do. Football, no football, like it's just the possibilities are endless. When I think about the things that you're gonna do and the things that you've already done, man, like that's the powerful thing about it. Like you don't even know how many people that you've inspired from, whether it's from your hometown or from the teams that you played in, and just from people watching you battle and overcome adversity, man. Like you're definitely a game changer, and I really, really appreciate you taking the time to just be on my show, man. And you're always gonna be a brother to me, man, whether we weren't on the same team or not.
Absolutely, but I appreciate you having me on, man, and like I know for a fact you're gonna do. You already are, and you're continuing to do it, and like I feel like we're so much alike, so I'm sure that God is maybe using us together for whatever. So,
right, bro.
Just a privilege to be on it, and we'd love to come back on it. So just let me know, bro. Hit me up.
Oh yeah, definitely. Whenever you get back on the team, we'll get you back on, man.
All right, brother.
All right, and one last thing: how can followers or the listeners get a hold of you?
My Instagram is Brandon Boykin. My Twitter is Brandon Boykin 2. I have an email at info@teamboykin.com. So if anybody wants to reach out to me for anything, hit me up on either one of those, and we can talk.
All right, bro. Well, I appreciate it again, man, and be blessed.
All right, brother. Stay up, man. Good to talk to you.
You too. And there you have it. That was my good friend, former teammate and brother, Brandon Boykin, who just recently got signed by the Baltimore Ravens. So I wish Brandon nothing but the best of health, success, and happiness as he moves forward in his career. And I really, really hope that you got a chance to get a lot out of this interview, especially when it comes to the intangibles that it takes to not only reach that high level of success, but to maintain it, through discipline, through resilience, through being able to persevere through pain, through injuries, through just being able to sacrifice and believe in. And like I said in my Game Changer tip of the week, have faith over fear, even when things are tough, even when you're in times of uncertainty. So with that being said, thank you so much once again for joining me on the Game Changer podcast. I'm so excited for next week. I have another great guest for you. And I want to just leave my information for you all. If you are a current or former athlete who is needing some advice on your transition, or just wants to talk about business, about personal branding, or if you're a business owner or entrepreneur who needs advice on anything, you got a business idea that you want to start up, or you just want to move forward, or just have a like-minded individual to connect with, I'm here as well. You can connect with me on Instagram at Rennie Curran, on my website, RennieCurran.com, on Twitter as well. So I look forward to continuing to do this. It's been awesome so far. The feedback has been amazing. So stay tuned. I got some really, really amazing guests coming on. You really don't know who I'm going to bring on next, because I'm not really just focusing on sports. There's going to be business people. There's going to be people from the nonprofit sector, both young and old. So once again, thank you so much. And remember, don't just get caught up in this rat race of life and just going through the motions. But remember, be a game changer.